Week 15 of the fantasy football season, and his top 12 defense DST units. I'm ranking this week number 1 the Kansas City Chiefs. So across the board, pretty much at every position besides wide receiver and running back, this Kansas City Chief team is going to have someone at that number 1 spot this week. So this week here, great matchup at the Houston Texans. Even though the Texans last week versus a great Dallas Cowboy defense, they moved the football well and had the Cowboys on the brink of losing that ball game. But this week here, this Chief team, they're built different obviously than the Dallas Cowboys. Tons of experience, and a team that never lets off the gas is this Chief team. So this week here at Houston, I think they make it a tough day for Davis Mills or Jeff Driscoll, whoever's going to be sharing the snaps or whatever the case may be. And I got him at the number 1 defensive play this week. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. I know this Bear offense can move the football well with Justin Fields and his legs and his big playmaker ability. But right here, this Eagle team, one of the best defenses in the league. And they're a team that obviously manipulates the game early and often, where they're going to get off to a big 10, 14-point lead. And the defense, that's where they start to tee off and start to make plays. So this Bear offensive line isn't any good. They really have a lack of receivers, especially with Darnell Mooney out for the season and Chase Claypool not doing much. And it's pretty much Cole Kmet and David Montgomery, besides Justin Fields, that this team's going to have to obviously rely on. And David Montgomery as well has been an inconsistent player this season. So I got Philly at 2. Number 3, the San Francisco 49ers. So the 49ers, another good season on defense. And this week here, it's going to be a grinded out type of ball game in a division matchup with the Seattle Seahawks. So the 49ers, one of the best units in the league. We saw it last week. I know Tampa Bay hasn't been the same this season, but they pretty much shut them down and held them down to 7 points in that game. And this week here, I think they're going to make it a little difficult for Geno Smith in this ball game. I think also Kenneth Walker, I know he's back in this game. They're going to make it tough a little bit for the rookie. And this defense as a whole here, they go out there and get to the passer, especially with Nick Bosa obviously leading this defense. So this week here, I got him in number 3. I think this game's in the mid-teens, low 20s for both teams. And it's a grinded out ball game where I think they'll get 3 or 4 sacks, maybe a couple turnovers. And I got him at 3. Number 4 could be a surprise to people, but I got the Washington Commanders. So this Commander defense, this is how they got back into the hunt for a wild card this season here. Playing good defense. Chase Young is back now. And this Giant offensive line isn't that good. Saquon Barkley, the last few weeks, the workload's definitely caught up to him, where he's not putting up those monster fantasy games like he did. And also the Giants, a lack of weapons. Tight end, they got no one going. Wide receiver, it's pretty much Darius Slayton and Richie James Jr., who's banged up with a concussion possibly as well this week. And this Commander team's at home on Sunday Night Football, coming off the bye week where they played the Giants a couple weeks ago. So I think the Commanders could be a surprising play this week here. And I got them in number 4. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. So this Cleveland Brown offense obviously has Deshaun Watson back in the mix here. But their offense has been rusty with Watson at the home over the last few weeks. And Nick Chubb, his numbers have definitely gone down the last 2 or 3 weeks. Kareem Hunt's been non-existent. And Amari Cooper as well has been slumping. Even though it's a home game here for Cleveland, he could get back on track. But this Raven defense over the last few weeks has improved, and especially with Roquan Smith added. Trade deadline's been a big get for this Raven team, no doubt about it. So this week here, at a Cleveland team with a banged-up offensive line as well, and Deshaun Watson still rusty, only in his 3rd game back. I got him at 5. Number 6, Dallas Cowboys at the Jaguars. So right here, Cowboys last week, their defense didn't play a great game, but also the offense didn't put the defense in great positions with a couple short fields on turnovers, with Dak 2 interceptions, and then the punt return of Robert Turpin fumbling them. So right here, this Cowboy defense, we know, is a vicious defensive line that gets to the quarterback. I know they run Stuffer Hankins. He's going to be out for a few weeks in this one, but I still think they can make a few plays in this one. I think they could get to Trevor Lawrence, who's possibly good for 1 or 2 turnovers in this one. And the Cowboys, after last week, almost losing that game, you'd think they're going to come out and be aggressive in this one and try to make a statement, saying last week was a fluke, almost losing to Houston. So I got them at 6. Number 7, Buffalo Bills. So Miami, we know, is a high-powered offense this season. Even though last week it was surprising to me that the Chargers, for the most part, shut down Tua in that ball game. But right here, big ball game, division matchup. We'll see what Tua has in this one versus the Buffalo Bills. And this is going to be a great game. And this Bill defense, we know, is one of the better defenses in the league, even though Von Miller is out for the season with the torn ACL and MCL. But right now, it's a big game for Buffalo. They definitely got revenge on their mind after losing early in the season in a tight contested ball game to Miami. And they got the home field, obviously, in this one. We could see tough weather conditions where possibly could snow. But anyway, I got Buffalo at 7. Number 8, the New England Patriots. So the Patriots defense last week came out and they took care of business at the Arizona Cardinals, even though we know Kyler Murray went out in the first drive of the ball game and it was the backup Colt McCoy in there. But anyway, this Vegas offense has been Jekyll or Hyde as well this season. Derek Carr hasn't been a consistent quarterback, and I think Bill Belichick in this one, the game plan is going to be take Davante Adams out of the game and have Josh Jacobs try to beat him on the ground the whole ball game. And last week it was a good game plan at Arizona. Hopkins didn't have that impact game where he was beating the defense deep. And I think this New England team, they know they need this ball game. And an indoor game, once again, this defense plays quicker on the turf here. And I think New England has a good one once again. Then number 8, number 9, New Orleans Saints. The Saints a good matchup versus the rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder in this one. And they're home as well. And Marcus Lattimore might be back in this game. So this Saint defense, they're a pretty decent defense. Cameron Jordan, they still got. They got some decent guys at the linebacker position. And like I said, this offense over there in Atlanta, no one really scares you besides maybe Drake London, who could be a playmaker. The running backs, Patterson and Algier, don't get enough opportunity or make enough plays to have monster games. And this Saint team, like I said, they're still in the hunt for the division as well. So I think coming off the bye week and getting a little bit healthier versus a rookie quarterback, I think the Saints have a good one. Number 10, Green Bay Packers. So the Packers defense, they've been a mediocre squad this season here in terms of fantasy football. But this week here, the Rams come to town. And the Rams here are going to have Baker Mayfield start at quarterback. I know last week he had the monster comeback victory, 98-yard drive to win it. But this week here, I think this Packer defense is obviously better than the Las Vegas Raiders. And they get to the quarterback. And obviously this Ram team is in shambles. At the running game, Cam Akers and Kyron Williams not doing much. Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson out for the season. And Tyler Higbee really hasn't done much. It's down to Ben Skoranek, Atwell, and Von Jefferson. So right now, I think this Packer team takes care of business in this one. They make a few plays, possibly even finding the end zone in this game. And I got him at 10, number 11, the New York Jets. A lot of people think this Detroit Lion team is just going to go over there in New York and have a big ball game. And this Lion team at home is a far superior offense than they are on the road. This season, only 2 ball games with 24 more points scored on the road for this Detroit Lion team. And this Jet unit, one of the better units in all pro football. They've shut down this Buffalo Bill offense for the most part in 2 games this season. We also saw him shut down a few other pretty good offenses for the most part this season, this Jet team. So this week here, I got him in number 11. I'm not saying they're going to go out there and have a monster game. It's a Jet defense, but they definitely can hold down this Lion offense, considering what they've been putting up over the last few weeks with 30-plus points per game. So this week, ball game in MetLife Stadium. Going to be cold weather. It's not going to be indoors like Detroit's used to, especially over the last few weeks here with 3 home games in a row. And I think this Jet defense has a good ball game. And I got him at 11. And the 12th and final defense I'm going with this week here is the Minnesota Vikings. I know this Viking defense isn't good, but it's a matchup play defense in this one with a good matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. They give up the most fantasy points to DSTs on the season. So the Colts offense is in shambles. Offensive line's one of the worst lines in the league, which is definitely surprising. While you got the Pro Bowler Quentin Nelson leading the offensive line there, Matt Ryan, his mobility is gone. Obviously, you get a hand on him, it's pretty much an automatic sack. And Matt Ryan turning the ball over at a rapid pace. So with all those factors and the Vikings back home this week and also coming off a tough loss, I think this defense is going to come out in this one and make a few plays on Matt Ryan. And we saw it a few weeks ago where this Cowboy defense teed off in the 4th quarter of that game, having a monster fantasy day versus Matt Ryan and the Colts. And I could see a similar type of game script where this defense for the Viking goes off later in the ball games. That's the top 12 defenses I'm ranking for Week 15 of the fantasy football season.